Yo, what is the upskis, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the GXGamerCast. We're on episode 107 of my little gaming show where once a week I just has to talk about video games, whether they're new games that I'm playing right now, old games that I grew up with, it doesn't matter, video games. And today, this is the secret game that I kind of teased a week or two ago or whatever that I was playing. It's freaking Bayonetta 2. The sequel, which is an interesting game. Well, we will get into that. But before we get into the Bayonetta 2 talk, let's talk about what I've been up to. Always encourage you, the viewer, the listener, let me know what you've been up to over the last whatever. What games are you playing right now? The Star Wars Outlaws came out. Did you get into that one? Kind of a mixed bag so far, I'm hearing from that game. I probably won't play it until maybe a year or so after, 12 or 13 patches come out and it's cleaned up nice and proper and all that great stuff, no performance stuff issues. But yeah, a mixed bag I'm hearing on that one. I was kind of, outside hoping for a Hogwarts Legacy, but Star Wars version. And, not perfect, but just great, a lot of fan service. And I hear, touches of that. But regardless, did you get that game? Are you liking it? Do you regret that purchase? Let me know. What movies have you been checking out? Did you watch anything? I don't know. I think Deadpool and Wolverine's still the big one. I still hear about that movie all the time. And what TV shows are you watching right now? And I will tell you what I've been up to. So we got, lots of challenge. So we finished off Challenge World. It was good. It was really good. Again, it's my junk food show. We've been watching a ton of challenge. It was solid. I don't even honestly remember who fucking won that one, so there you go. At this point, I've watched so much, I think my brain is getting a little bit numb to some of the challenge, so what I did was watch some more challenge. So we finished off Challenge All-Stars, which was also an interesting season. It was like All-Stars Veteran Edition, though. These were all you had people from, I knew that the challenge was around for a while, but this show was in the 90s when it started. This show's been around, I think it started before frickin' Survivor. So respect on that. But they had people from 2000, the early 2000 seasons coming back for the first time in over a decade. There was a bunch of those people. So The Miz, the WWE wrestler, he's been on the challenge quite a few times, and I'm dying to see The Miz on the challenge. I haven't had the opportunity to watch the seasons he's been on yet, but I think he was on it before WWE or early in that. I know he was a reality TV guy before that, but regardless, I saw some clips. They did some flashbacks, and The Miz was there. I'm like, oh man, I want to see it so bad. But this All-Star one was pretty neat. I mean, with all the veterans coming back, there were quite a few familiar faces for myself, but no bananas. I was like, damn, no bananas. But another good one. Another just turn your brain off, play some video games, watching it in the background, watch it with your loved one, and it was awesome. Speaking of loved ones, let me just shout out my wife right here, right now. We just had our anniversary, 3 years married. Thank you, just thank you. My wife bought me the best gift ever. So I'm a Toronto Maple Leaf fan, if you haven't figured that one out yet. And my favorite Leaf of all time and favorite hockey player of all time is Phil Kessel. I love Phil Kessel. From the second he became a Leaf, I immediately just fell in love with him unconditionally, and he just continued to make me love him more. So anyway, I've always wanted a Phil Kessel jersey. I've always wanted one. I have this Leaf jersey from the era when he played, and it doesn't have a name on it, and I've always wanted to get his name put on it. But it's rather expensive to get a name put on a jersey, and just so happened to take a peek on eBay. I'm not a big eBay guy, but I just fucking got desperate, man. Went on eBay, saw a Phil Kessel jersey. I was like, I need that, and my wife purchased that for me for our anniversary, and it is hanging up in my wall. It is absolutely beautiful. I love this jersey. It is so gorgeous. It's a Reebok era one. It was a third alternate jersey they used to wear, the third felt. I know some people don't like the felt. I'm not worried about it. I'm just worried about the name on the back, and it's gorgeous. So I don't know the person that sold it to me on eBay's name, but we did have a chat. She was like, did you get the package? Did you love it? I'm like, it's perfect. Thank you so much. And all that great stuff. So I'm a happy boy. I wake up every morning now in my little boy room, with all my Leaf stuff in it, all my jerseys. I wake up and I see my Phil Kettle. I get a big old smile on my face. So I'm a happy, happy boy. And I got my wife a present in return. Don't you worry. I bought her a tablet. So hey, I'm doing good, y'all. We're doing good. So that was a good time. That was a great time. Shout out my wife. Love my wife. Thank you so much. So another show, I finally finished off Wrexham Season 3. Finished it off finally. I had that on the back burner while I watched a couple other shows, finished those off, came back to Wrexham, and it was awesome. It was another, maybe my least favorite of the 3 seasons, but still really, really good. 7.5 out of 10 for Season 3. I don't want to spoil it for anyone that hasn't gotten into the show yet, but they did some very impressive work in this season, man. And of course, classic Wrexham, lots of very charming, wholesome stories all throughout. That nice comedy, you got that Ryan Reynolds, and god damn it, why do I always fucking blank on his name? McElhaney. I wish Rob. There you go. God damn, I love Always Sunny, but I always see him as freaking Mac. So I'm trying to get his name anyway. Their comedy, their chemistry together is awesome, and a very, very enjoyable season. Again, if you haven't watched Wrexham, dude, you gotta. It is just such a charming, delightful show. It is so freaking good. Awesome. Really enjoyed it. All right, and I'm kind of sad now, I have to wait for more Wrexham, so I can't wait for the next season. And no movies again this week, sadly. Just so much wrestling. I thought I was going to have time this week. I was like, all right, we should be in the clear. We just had a big AEW pay-per-view. We should be good. And turns out there's 2 WWE pay-per-views this weekend. So I'm jam-packed. I got no real extra time for a movie this week, sadly. But I got time for video games, of course. Always got time, baby. Mario Kart 8 still got me hooked, baby. I am trying desperately to get gold in all of the 200cc. I have 2 or 3 left that I just can't crack. I don't remember which cups they are, but regardless, I'm having a lot of fun. I switched up, started riding Diddy. That kind of sounded wrong. I started using in the cart Diddy Kong. Started trying that guy out. He's a lot of fun. I might use him as my second because I love Diddy Kong. He is the homie. But I've been rocking Bowser for a long time now, and I'm just about to dive into the Mirror Cup and start finishing off mostly the DLC stuff. But yeah, Mario Kart 8, God, so good. I debated doing an episode, but I don't know what I would want to do with it. There's no point reviewing it. I would think something like some sort of list, a tier, a ranking on the cups, something like that. I'll shout it out. I could do something with Mario Kart 8. I've been thinking about it a lot because I've been playing it so much. But yeah, playing lots of Mario Kart 8, loving that. Still playing Metal Gear Solid 5, man. Even though I beat the main campaign, I got the review up. You can go back and listen to that one. I'm still playing it. I will still sometimes come home from work and I'm still riled up. I got some energy. Let's play some Metal Gear Solid. Finish off some side missions. I finished off a few of the extra main missions, which the extra difficult ones where you're doing replays, and fuck, man, one of those is really difficult because they literally give you nothing. You have no tools, no weapons, nothing. All you have is your hands and your robotic hands and stuff like that. And I was like, oh shit, I don't know if I can do this one. I don't know if I'm that freaking good. I rely heavily on my tools, but still playing Metal Gear Solid 5, man. Love it. Absolutely love it. If you need more convincing to get and play that freaking game, you can go listen to the episode. Please and thank you. That would be fantastic. So in terms of next week's episode, I have played this game now and I have beaten it. I just kind of polishing off the DLC, and it's a Star Wars game. That's all I'm going to say. I know the homie Billy knows which Star Wars game it is that I've been playing, and so it's finished. That'll be next week's episode. Will be a Star Wars video game, so you can take your guesses right now. It was a very short game, wasn't very long, and I'm not going to really talk about it too much because that will be next week's episode, a fun Star Wars review. So there you go, yet another teaser for you. And I just started up Marvel's Midnight Suns, actually. It was recommended to me by a friend at work. He played it, really enjoyed it. played it pretty early when it came out, and he explained it to me, and he's like, oh, it's like kind of like XCOM, but Marvel's, and I'm like, I'm sold. You said XCOM? XCOM, I adore XCOM so much. I've been craving it so badly lately. I've had it installed, just like, oh, I want to play it so bad, and then I was like, but I played it before, of course, played XCOM the day it came out, played the shit out of it, and XCOM 2. And, so I saw Marvel Midnight Suns, and I saw that it was leaving the PlayStation Plus premium thing in a few weeks. I was like, shit, I better give that game a go. So I downloaded it, got a couple hours in today, and oh baby, this is delightful. I am very much so enjoying myself. It is, I mean, kind of like XCOM, sure. Yeah, I will say that. It's kind of like XCOM, but with Marvel superheroes, and a lot of them. I'm only a couple hours in. I already have like already seen over half a dozen, probably a dozen different Marvel people. It is sweet. The gameplay is fun and satisfying, and it's already made me laugh like out loud quite a few times. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Maybe a review in the future if I can get it done. It's a pretty beefy game. I don't know if I can get it done before it leaves the premium, but I'm going to try. And highly enjoying that one. Don't miss out on that one if you plan to play it and you have the PlayStation Plus. It's supposedly leaving on September 17th. So get on that if you want to play that. So it is pretty damn good so far. I am really digging it. So there you go. That's everything that I've been up to. Let me know what y'all have been up to. And oh baby, it's time to get stylish and profile-ish. I'm sorry, Ric Flair. Woo. We're talking Bayonetta 2 right now, folks. Let's dive into the Bayonetta-ness. Oh baby, is it ever good to be back in the world of Bayonetta. I got introduced to Bayonetta, thankfully, again, shout out to the lovely wife. She bought me Bayonetta 3, it doesn't really matter. She bought me that, and I was like, snap, I have not played Bayonetta yet, and that just encouraged me to get into the Bayonetta series, which I've heard nothing but great things, and I honestly, I was scared away from it because I heard it was difficult, and I'm a chicken shit, and I was like, ooh, difficult game, brr. I'm good at games now, y'all, so I can, watch out now, I'm decent at games, so I tackled Bayonetta 1 last year, and it was one of the surprise hits for me last year. It was awesome. Absolutely loved Bayonetta 1. And then I was like, oh, baby, I got to get me some Bayonetta 2. And a little history lesson here. The Bayonetta 2 got a very strange location it got released on. It was originally released on the Wii U of all systems. So originally, Bayonetta 1 released on Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. Hell yeah. No way it was going on the Switch. Bayonetta was a HD, quite one of the nicest looking games I would say for that time. I didn't play it at the time, but it still looks gorgeous now. I have a review on Bayonetta 1. I'm going to do all the Bayonetta games because I really love Bayonetta now, so just, get ready for a Bayonetta 3 review probably next year when I play that son bitch, but this is Bayonetta 2. So it releases on the Wii U. So all of a sudden Nintendo gets the exclusivity to Bayonetta, and everyone was like, hey, whoa, that's awesome, but also sadness, because shit, anyone that played it on PlayStation or Xbox that doesn't have Nintendo, not a lot of people bought the Wii U. I mean, shout out to the homie Billy and anyone else that bought the Wii U. Not many of you, but cool. So it comes out on there, and it also, they packaged it in with the original Bayonetta, gorgeous package. Whoa, that came out of my mouth again. Oh, jeez, I gotta watch what I say sometimes. Anyway, comes out on the Wii U, and obviously probably didn't sell very well, and not a lot of people got to experience Bayonetta 2 because it was on Wii U. So thankfully, the Switch comes out. The Switch, the hero system that little amazing system is, brings a port of the Wii U, Bayonetta 2 over to the Switch, and they also had a combo package of Bayonetta 1 and 2, I believe. Good luck finding that one. And this game was not necessarily easy to find. I got very lucky, just popped into a local game shop, and bam, there it was for $45, I think, which was about half price what I've been seeing it go for on online, so I was like, yep, snag that thing up immediately. And it's been on the shelf for a few months now, waiting for that Bayonetta itch to come around, and it did. So, my goodness. So this game came out in 2014. I was like, wow, okay. So Bayonetta 1 was 2010, I do believe. 2014, we get a new system. It's on Nintendo now. And Bayonetta has become, again, it's kind of baffling with Bayonetta because it's an M-rated game. It's rather, it's very flashy. It's very sexualized. It's very not for children. I would safely say not for children, which is, nice to have on Nintendo. It's nice to have an M-rated series on their system. They don't have a lot of them, and which ones they generally have also are on other systems. So, I think of No More Heroes. That was an awesome M-rated series on Nintendo Wii, and then now it's on everything. But anyway, we're not going down that route. So a 2014 game, I'm playing it on Switch in 2024, 10 years late. Oh my goodness, Bayonetta 2 is 10 years old now. Let's see. Let's talk about this game. Is it still awesome? Is it better than Bayonetta 1? Well, the reviews say so. On Metacritic, I believe Bayonetta 2 was at a 90, let's say a 91, and Bayonetta was a 90. Something like that. They were very close. In review, I believe just from the Metacritic, Bayonetta 2 is slightly higher. Let's see if that tracks. So to introduce this game, what the heck is Bayonetta, you might be asking? Well, do you know what Devil May Cry is? No? Okay, well, it's a hack and slash, kind of a combo action fighting thing. It's hack and slash. You're doing the combos, aerial combos, and it's just very flashy, over-the-top third-person action, featuring the very charismatic, awesome character, Bayonetta. And a little bit controversial, I remember at the time when they revealed Bayonetta, she comes into Bayonetta 2 with a brand new look. She's still a female, she's still a witch, she's still all that, but mostly she's cut her hair. In Bayonetta 1, she had long, luscious hair, all in a nice updo, looked awesome. And now she's got the shortcut. I think it looks awesome. Honestly, maybe controversial, but I think, honestly, Bayonetta rocks the short do. I think it looks better on her. I think she rocks that do, and I'm down with it. It doesn't matter to me. It's not the hair that makes the woman, even though the hair for Bayonetta is very important. It wraps her up. It keeps her clothed. It's very part of her powers and all this great stuff. Am I blowing your mind yet? This game is wild, by the way. It's absolutely crazy. It involves angels and demons and hell and heaven and witches and fucking craziness, man. The gates of hell. It's craziness. This game is so freaking crazy. And just the intro of this game is awesome. I immediately was just like, man, I missed you. I missed you, Bayonetta. I love your charm. I love your everything. So we start this game. It's Bayonetta shopping, doing some big-time shopping. She's got Enzo, her partner, this classic, over-the-top kind of Brooklyn accent guy, like, oh, I'm walking over. Whoa, that was so not even close. I'm sorry. I don't know. I'm just not going to go for it, but you know what I'm saying? Enzo, this guy's awesome. He's shopping with Bayonetta, and then, of course, shit hits the fan. Everything goes crazy. You got angels and demons all over the place, and you're getting yourself into a big old fight right out of the gate immediately, and you're flying up on the freaking skyscrapers, you're running up walls and stuff, battling angels and demons, shooting, you got guns on your feet, you got guns in your hands, your hair is attacking people. It's bananas, and I'm not even done yet. You climb up to the skyscrapers, you're fighting on top of jet fighters. We're just flying some jets over here. Oh, geez, there's witches and demons and angels fighting on us. This is amazing. And that's what I was saying. I'm like, yo, dude, I am 20 minutes into this game, and I am already fighting things on top of jets. And then Santa Claus appears. Yes, Santa Claus. I mean, it's not the Santa Claus. It's, Rodan. He's a returning character. He is awesome. He is the shopkeep. Badass, also a badass. And he is dressed up as Santa Claus and joins in the fight. I mean, you can be a badass and get into the festive season, dress up like Santa Claus, and still whoop some ass. It's been done before. Regardless, this is the opening of the game. It's batshit crazy. I remember telling a few people at work. They're just like, oh, what you playing right now? And I'm like, yo, I'm playing this, and this shit went down in like the first 15, 20 minutes. And they're like, my goodness, what is Bayonetta? I'm like, it's one of those games, man, definitely underrated, but like I said, with the history of the Wii U and its odd release, not a lot of people got to play it. And, not that many people played the original either. It's a female protagonist. People were turned off by that. I mean, I was always interested in it, but again, the difficulty scared me off. And Devil May Cry kicked my ass as a young man, so I was already like, well, if it's as hard as those games, I got no chance. So I just really had no interest up until my wife got me it. So the game starts out absolutely insane, and I believe it's your sister. Her name is Jean, whatever. You have to save her. She gets taken away. She gets, sucked into a hell portal or some shit, so you gotta go after her. And in classic fashion, I am not going to tell you very much about the story. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but we'll talk about some highlight moments that made me go ooh and ah, and so on and so forth. Talk about some boss fights. This game is filled with boss fights, of course. It's, like I said, it's a Devil May Cry type game, so it's just crazy hack and slash action, then you get a big crazy boss fight and some crazy cutscenes and stuff like that. So, like I said, you are going to save Jean, and then Loki shows up. I don't know if that's like the Loki. He doesn't look like it because he's just this little one. He's the little one. This little Loki. He looks like a child, just like a young 10-year-old, 12-year-old kid or something. But he's a badass too. This kid gets an awesome entrance into the game. He's very witty, kind of charming, and he's awesome. I really like Loki. And also Luca is here. But hold on, before we get to Luca, Loki also, another big part of the game is you're trying to help Loki get to the top of this big freaking mountain that's called Flibbelflagen Fluver or something like that. I have no idea. It's way too many syllables and letters for me to even try and figure out, so I'm not going to bother. Anyway, you're trying to get to the top of this mountain, you're trying to save Jean from hell, and return to your shopping. I just want to freaking buy shoes and put guns on them. What is going on here? So we touched over the gameplay a little bit, but we'll go back to that. So really, honestly, when it comes to the new features of the game, not a lot of new stuff. When you compare it to Bayonetta 1 to Bayonetta 2, you're kind of, honestly, it's all kind of here. I was very familiar outside of, so now I'm playing it on Switch. And I will say, for some freaking reason, man, I have an awful time at figuring out and remembering the button layout for my Switch. The X is in all the weird, for some reason, I'm completely fine with PlayStation and Xbox. I have no problem switching back and forth on that, but when I go to Switch, I literally feel like an old person. I'm looking down at it all the time, which button is X? What button is this? What the heck? I got a problem, y'all. I got to figure this one out. Maybe I have a limit of 2 consoles, and I can't get to that third one. So outside of that, I had to deal with some odd control, just getting used to new buttons, and fuck, now it's, instead of A, it's X, instead of fucking triangle, it's Y, and it just, threw me off a little bit. So by no means, that's not the game's fault. That's just a me thing, so it's not going to be in any way a negative towards this game. Regardless, you're doing all that. We talked about the characters. Okay, graphics. I wanted to talk about the graphics because immediately when you start this cutscene of the game, I was like, wow, this game is stunning. This game is gorgeous. Now, take it with a grain of salt. I am not a graphics hound. I don't play on PC. I don't play on the highest settings by any means, and I'm playing this on the Switch, which is a fairly, what would we say, an aged console at this time. It's definitely not the strongest graphics machine out there at this point. It is rather weak and aged, but I was still blown away at how good Bayonetta 2 looked on the Switch, man. The colors immediately just popped and smacked me across the face. I'm like, yo, what's up, blue and green and yellow? And maybe it's because I was playing so much Metal Gear and it's, a war zone. So you get those dungeony colors, if you will, the dark tones and all that. And this game was just, all this color. I was like, fuck yeah, this is gorgeous. And it's the reflections. I got to this one area. I think I took a picture of it and I put it up on my Twitter. So, shameless plug, you can go check it out. But I had to put up a picture. I don't like to flood my thing with constant, pictures and stuff. But I had to take a picture. I was blown away. I was like, the reflections on the water, the colors, the lighting. I was like, wow, I see you, Bayonetta. 2014. I mean, this HD era has aged quite well. Like, I could still play PlayStation 3 games, Xbox 360 games. The Wii, it could be a struggle at times because it's not HD. Or is it? No, it's not HD. But yeah, I could play the HD era games, the old ones, sure, no problem. I think they still look fine, especially cutscenes still hold up quite well. Even PS2, I can still go back there. A Final Fantasy on PS2 still looks sensational. Regardless, I think games now age much better than they did in the PlayStation 1 era, if you will. That's where I'm like, okay, this shit looks horrifying. Like, it's a little bit scary. Nightmare fuel, if you will. But not Bayonetta 2. Bayonetta 2 is gorgeous. So gorgeous, I had no problems with its performance throughout my gameplay. It's extremely fast-paced, so it needs to run smoothly, and it does. There's no chugging. I can't tell you what fucking FPS it's rolling at consistently. Probably something that would upset PC people, but us regular people on console were like, yo, we're fine with 30 FPS, that's fine. And maybe it was doing higher than that, but regardless, this game is just gorgeous. Everything's popping, cutscenes. So let's talk the cutscenes. So they mix them up. They mix it up between like fully gorgeous, they pump up the graphics a bit for the big cutscenes and stuff, and these are the ones that are gorgeous. You start the game with one of these, and you get them sprinkled out through the game, a good mix, and then the other side of it is like kind of the storybook, where it's just kind of still images, a little bit of movement and animation, whatever, limited, but it's more for just the talking points. They don't need a big, fully thing like that. I understand that, so it's limited. It gives you range with the graphics. They're not going balls to the wall for every scene in the game, which is fine. It doesn't bother me. It'd be sick if everything was fully animated and was pumped up with the nice graphics, but that's expensive and it takes a lot of time. I understand that. So I was fine with the storybook and the mixture of fully pumped up cutscenes, and then the gameplay is like, in the middle. It's fucking nice. Nice, runs smooth. It's colorful, it pops, there's lots of good stuff going on right there. So no performance issues, graphics look bumping. We'll talk about the music and the sound design and everything. I need to shout out the performance of Bayonetta, who is Helena Taylor. My goodness, oh my goodness. I'm kind of scared to look her up in real life. Because not saying if she was ugly, I'd be like, oh, I just don't want to break the aura. Like, how that happens sometimes when you see the person behind the voice. Sometimes it breaks the aura, and I just want that voice. That is my Bayonetta. That is like my David Hayter to Snake. If they ever change the voice of Bayonetta, there's gonna be hell to pay, because holy, Helena Taylor, shout out, y'all. Like, triple thumbs up, sensational performance, sensational, so charismatic, so just witty and charming, and probably gonna go down as one of my favorite characters. Like, Bayonetta over the last year and a half has shot up the rankings like no other. Like, she is flying up there, and I don't even know what the rankings are, but all I know is Bayonetta is flying up them rankings. So that is awesome. Shout out to that. And pretty much everyone else, like Enzo, when he shows up, he's hilarious I just love a good over-the-top Brooklyn accent over here, you know what I'm saying? And he kills it at that, just freaking, and he's that goofball character. He starts the game, he's holding, a stack of presents and just being just silly. He's being ridiculous. And Bayonetta's amazing. Rodin is awesome. He's just so cool, man. Oh, he's so cool. So cool. He's the shopkeeper. He's a badass. He's kind of like Blade. Like, he kind of looks like Blade with the trench coat and the badass sunglasses, and he just kicks ace. So Rodin's a good, I'm not sure if it's Rodin, who cares, but he's a badass, and he starts the game as Santa Claus. And the music, man, hell yeah. I will say that it didn't hit me as great as Bayonetta 1. Bayonetta 1 just blew me away with the music, because it was I just wasn't prepared for that. I was like, damn, like, this is the music of Bayonetta 1, it's so massive in scale, and so is the game. Like, there's a lot of huge enemies you're fighting, and the music, like, scales up to that. You're just like, holy crap, man. Like, I was just blown away. And then, of course, you got, like, the fast-paced, crazy music while you're in that combat. You got the nice, jazzy music when you're just, you know, in between levels at the shop. And it's got that beautiful, that piano intro. I can't do it. Regardless, the music is awesome. It I just don't think it didn't go down as memorable for me as Bayonetta 1. I was like, fuck, man, that music was so damn good. But Bayonetta, I imagine across the board, I love the music in Bayonetta. It's such a great mix of jazziness and I love me some piano. I think it's a super underrated freaking instrument. Doesn't get used a lot nowadays, I feel, anyway. Not enough. Love me some piano. And it's got a lot of that going on. Fast-paced, epic operatic music is there, of course, for the big boss music. It's just, you know, now that I know I'm familiarized with Bayonetta, my socks aren't going to get knocked off the way that it did, because the rose is off the Band-Aid. I don't even know. That's not correct at all. But, you know, I played it before, so now I'm a little bit more prepared for the craziness that is Bayonetta. But the music still slaps. It's absolutely awesome. Lots of high energy. Thumbs up for the music. Awesome music. All right. Let's get to some of the good stuff. We talked about the characters. I skipped over Luca a little bit. So Luca, I believe he's in the first game as well. He's kind of like, he's a bit of a goofball too, and I really enjoy his interactions with Loki and Bayonetta, but especially with Loki. I mean, they're kind of like jealous of each other. They're both like, you know, kind of being men about it, you know, trying to, there's a nice lady over here, I want to, you know, kind of show off, I want to peacock a little bit, if you will, and those interactions are fun. But again, everybody in Bayonetta is pretty much a badass. This guy's he's a little, like I said, he's a little bit of a goofball, but he's still pretty cute. Like, he can whip around on a rope and stuff, and he's going around helping Bayonetta get some intel and stuff for you. He doesn't show up very often. He probably shows up the least. Like, outside of, like, Jean John, she doesn't show up very much either, because she is, you know, a hostage or whatever the fuck. Regardless, so the gameplay, like I said, it's your over-the-top, third-person action hack and slash. If you've played Devil May Cry and you haven't played Bayonetta, I mean, what the heck are you doing? You should probably be playing Bayonetta. You might like it more. At some point, I want to do a versus of Devil May Cry versus Bayonetta. I just don't know which games I would pair up, because they're all across consoles. I haven't even really played all that much Devil May Cry. I played a couple. I've never finished one. I've played a few of them, but yeah, I need to be playing some Devil May Cry before I get that versus done. Regardless, it's very similar in that gameplay. You got a cool variety of weapons. I mean, eventually you will unlock some different ones, but you start out with, like, Bayonetta's classic double pistols, which are also equipped on her freaking feet. She's got freaking guns attached to her freaking feet. If you're new here to Bayonetta, that's a staple. That's so cool. You know, she's doing kicks. She'll kick you in the face and then blast your head off. Like, oh, it's so cool. And she's doing, like, fucking breakdancing moves and all that. Super flashy, super over the top. I would say, again, I need to play some Devil May Cry. And the last one I played was, like, Devil May Cry 4. And it was a demo. So, yeah, it's been a hot minute. And I feel like Bayonetta has been out-flashing Dante for me, personally, in my memory, my very limited memory of Devil May Cry. But she's awesome, man. You're pulling off these combos. With the weapons, like I said, you will unlock different ones. You can get a double swords, and you can combo them up. You can have, like, 2 sets. So it's like, all right, I hit the button, I got my pistols. I hit the button, I switch over to my swords. You can get other guns, I think. I didn't get them all, I doubt it, because I didn't get a lot. I'm not very good at Bayonetta, I will admit. I'm not very good at the combo things. Like, I just kind of do the simple ones. I'm not good at remembering the more flashy combos. So with the it's very simple. Like, you can just dive into it. It's not that hard. It's 2 buttons. It's your heavy attack and your light attack, and you can jump, and you could just mix it all together, but the mixing is odd. So you can do things like XX pause, XY, Y pause, XX. You can do XXXXXXXX. You can do Y, and just mash buttons and all that great stuff. And eventually, throughout your time in the game, and when you go to visit the shop, you get Rodan into the gates of hell, you can buy new combos. And they're okay, like a lot of them are like, oh, do a certain button press, XX, whatever, and you'll launch the enemy up into the air, and then you can do your classic juggling combos, which is a staple of these kind of games. You throw the enemy up in the air, and you just try to keep them up there as long as possible, and you can do that really well in Bayonetta. Combos are super easy to keep connected, because with the guns you got your distance covered, so if anyone is far away from you, you just keep your combo going, and you obviously get a dodge, so you can kind of jolt forward or wherever the heck, and you can go forward to them, hit your combos, and yeah, some are really good. There was one combo that I kept hitting, and it was something that throws them up in the air. Regardless, I was doing this combo over and over again, and my wife would walk by while I'm playing, and every time I did the combo, it sounds like Bayonetta is saying fuck off. She's like, fuck off! Well, but I think she's saying lock on. I think she's saying fuck off, honestly. For the sake of it being funnier, she's saying that. And my wife was giggling every time she walked by. I'm like, what's so funny? And she's like, it sounds like she's saying fuck off every time. I'm like, I know, right? God. So, honestly, it was a little, it was annoying because every time I did that move, she would say it. So that got annoying in terms of sound design, how she would just continue to repeat phrases. And that would happen, with other moves as well. There would just be, certain fucking grunts or things she would do over and over again. But at least that one provided my wife a little consistent entertainment, which provided me entertainment. When she's entertained, I'm entertained, and that's fantastic. And when I'm entertained, she's entertained. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful cycle of yes. So yeah, I'm riding on a high clearly on this Phil Kessel gift from her. She is in good. She can do no wrong. She can literally sell my PlayStation right now, and I would be able to be fine with this. I'm like, you've got the Phil Kessel. I'll buy another one. It's okay. I love you still, but don't do that again. All right, so that's how high she is right now in terms of good graces. I mean, she always was, always will be, but yeah, up there now, way up there. If you guys want to do that, more Phil Kessel, so you can never go wrong with Phil Kessel stuff. Where the hell am I? Where am I? What am I doing right now? We're talking about Bayonetta, right? I am so sorry. I am going so far off. So with classic fashion, in these games, you'll have a bar, a gauge that you can fill up when you're doing your combos, and eventually when you fill it up, you can unleash your umbral climax, they're calling it. So this game is filled with a lot of funny words, and it's, like I said, it's sexualized quite a bit. Bayonetta is a very sexualized character. She literally, her outfit is made of her hair, and then when she does her big climax moves, she's using her hair, so she kind of is naked, but you can't see the naked, but she is naked and you know it regardless. So that's going on, and when you unleash your climax, you get these really awesome, all of a sudden your moves, you get kind of, I will say the moves aren't quite as flashy as Bayonetta 1 as I recall. I remember very consistently summoning a giant hair fist and I don't know, a giant dog face and giant feet smushing enemies. I feel like the combos were easier and more flashy in Bayonetta 1. And this one, again, flashy, just not as flashy as I recall in Bayonetta 1. Regardless, you do have the good flashy stuff, and the umbral climax is very similar to what I was talking about. You get the freaking giant feet are flying around and you're just beating the shit out of everybody. It is awesome. It has great range, so when you're sworn by fucking little demon angel things, you're just wham, you're beating the fuck out of everybody. And the enemy selection is, for me, it's a little bit tired because they're so very similar to the enemies in Bayonetta 1. They're your flying enemies, they're your standard hack and slash type enemies. They're semi-powerful, they're pulling off their moves, they're trying to fuck up your combo, they have a range of difficulty, some of them are big and powerful brutes. You got the fast-moving, agile enemies. Your classic, you got enemies. There are enemies everywhere. They're just a similar style and that classic look. I love the look of the enemies in Bayonetta. They have that kind of creepy statue angel face thing going on with most of the enemies, the bigger, fancier ones. They have these creepy angel faces. That's just kind of in the design of the enemies throughout Bayonetta, and I'm like, oh, I love it. They look so cool. They're always got like crazy wings and armor and shit. They're very fancy, very cool. Love the enemy design in Bayonetta. Fighting them, though, it was a little bit tired for me. So maybe I take a little bit longer of a break till I play Bayonetta 3, just because it just felt very samey, the enemy style, the enemy types. Though, if you haven't played Bayonetta before, I must say, the pacing that they are giving you new enemies, though, is fantastic. Like, they're pretty much you'll do a battle, and in every battle, for the most part, they'll, like, close you off. You're, like, kind of in this little closed-off area, and you can't pass through the area until you beat all the enemies, shit like that, and then you get graded for each performance, and I would say my performances throughout the game were like a B to an A-ish, and they go from, I don't know how low it goes, but I imagine like D, maybe it goes down to the F, and the top rank, I think it is S Rengaru. So, yeah, I wasn't getting a lot of those, or I think it might be Platinum is what, it doesn't really matter. So you're getting ranked on how good you are, how big your combo is, how fast you defeat the enemies, and how much damage you don't take, which I consistently take a lot of damage. I died quite a bit through, no, didn't actually, I actually didn't die a lot throughout the game. I'm sorry I'm all over the place, but back to items. You can purchase lollipops from the shop, and the lollipops have great effects, such as refilling your health bar. It can top up your magic meter, so you can just kind of get that Umbral Climax off a little bit faster. Giggity. And, shit, that threw me off. You can get a lollipop for a shield. That'll make you invincible for a short period of time. And the lollipops come in different sizes. Small ones give you a shorter period of time, bigger ones, longer. Simple, makes sense, right? Good. And then the best one, very, very effective and awesome, always have one of these, is the hot shot. If you die, if your life bar goes out, the hot shot activates and it refills your life bar, gives you another chance at it. So, yeah, generally, if at worst, I would get I think I've used the I died once or twice before I had access to the hot shot, and then once I had the hot shot, I don't think I ever died again, because like it isn't that difficult of a game, honestly. But again, take it with a grain of salt. I have been playing video games for over 25 years, so it's, I've had a little bit of experience, but I didn't find the game very difficult. I feel like I died a lot more in Bayonetta 1, and I will say I did not get anywhere near as frustrated as I did in Bayonetta 1. There were some boss fights that were rather ridiculous in Bayonetta 1, I remember, that had just crazy big health bars. Fights were just really, really long, and Bayonetta 2 does not have that problem. It's a very, very fast-paced game. Fights are very quick. Like I said, when you're in these little battle arenas, they're like 30 seconds to, if you suck, like 2 minutes or something, and then you'll have a boss fight. It'll also be a few minutes, like 5 minutes max, with cutscenes. So it's a very fast-paced game. And with that being said, it's not a very long game. I was a little bit definitely not angry, but I was definitely a little bit surprised. I was like, oh, it's over. I wouldn't say it was an abrupt ending, but I was like, oh, I kind of wanted more, and that's not a bad thing at all. Like, to leave me wanting more is good, and we'll talk about the big addition of, there is a multiplayer in Bayonetta 2. That is the big addition. I will talk about that later on, so that's the big addition. We'll pin that one for later. Oh, jeez, let's try and figure out if I can get back to the gameplay somehow. We talked about the lollipops and all that great stuff. And you can also, so with the combos, they give you, like, all the tools to get good at the game. It's not that they make the game difficult for no reason. They have a practice room. You can go in there and try out all your combos. They have, like, the move list and all that. It's like, here, dummy, here's how to do it. This is everything. Here's the list. And whenever the game is loading between whatever it's doing, it like gives you control of Bayonetta. It has the combo list right there on the screen, and you can just sit there and practice. So though the loading screens are not very long, that's a good thing, but it gives you that access. I love when games do that, the interactive loading screens. Like, I think all the way back to like Fallout or more so Skyrim, where you can like move the items and look at them and shit, like the models. I was like, fuck, little thing like that. At least you're giving me, you're thinking of us. I appreciate that so much. So Bayonetta, they're doing that. They're like, hey, if you are struggling, like there's all these ways we can train you. It's all there for you. if anything, it would be nice if you can like maybe favorite a few combos and you can kind of keep them pinned onto the screen just so you can remember them. Maybe that would be a cool idea. I don't recall that being something in the game, but hey, if you guys are listening, Bayonetta developers, you can have that idea. Just give me a free copy of Bayonetta 4 whenever you release it. I hope that comes out. That'd be key. So you're purchasing new combos. You got the practice mode. We talked about filling up the gauge. And when you're fighting bosses, the main thing is like you whittle down their health bar and you unleash the ultimate climax move, which is always a big, over-the-top, generally funny situation. Like, sadly, again, I recall the Bayonetta 1 moves, climaxes, more than I remember the Bayonetta 2. I remember in Bayonetta 1, you literally turn your enemy into a ball and then you play volleyball with it. It's insane. So I don't remember any of them being that crazy, but like, giant fucking creature heads would bite their heads off. You get also like torture attacks as well throughout the game. Just randomly you'll be fighting and they'll just give you an opportunity for a torturous attack where you're just like chopping a dude up on like fucking spikes and then you chop his head off with a guillotine. You're like, damn, that was sick. And that took like 7 seconds. You're like, fuck, that was crazy fast. And I'm just like, oh god. So yeah, the gameplay's super fast, super fun. It can be repetitive if like these hack and slash games are not for you, then they're not for you. That's okay, but that's what this one is. So if you don't like the mashing buttons, doing combos, juggling enemies up in the air, then maybe Bayonetta isn't for you. But I'm telling you, the character and the over-the-top story alone is definitely worth checking out. And you're also can be collecting upgrades for your health. You'll find little pieces of, I don't remember what the hell your pieces of, but you'll collect 4 of them, and you'll increase Bayonetta's health bar. You can also buy these pieces from the shop. That's where most of my money was going. Like, I was like, yo, I'd rather increase my health instead of buying this combo move that I won't remember how to do it anyway. So I was buying mostly lollipops and health upgrades throughout the shop. That's how I got through it. But yeah, it definitely gives you a lot of replayability options. Like, there's so much more things you can upgrade, and there's like new characters you can play through the game as play through the game as once you defeat the game. You get different characters to play, and yeah, so it's highly replayable. Like, I would definitely see myself replaying Bayonetta 2 over Bayonetta 1, because Bayonetta 1 had some things about it that I was like, oh, this fight was so fucking rough, I do not want to do that again. And I didn't really have that in Bayonetta 2, so that's good. It has good, memorable boss fights, and like I said, you are all over the place. You can collect a couple beads or whatever. You can also upgrade your magic meter so you can have like more climaxing. You want more climaxing. That's always a good thing. They also have like little challenge like portals in the levels. It's also like a linear game. It's like level based. You go in, you beat a level, they're like, yeah, here's your ranking, great, off to the next level, and off you go. Very nice and linear. No open world stuff here. I mean, you can walk around in the levels, but it's not an open world game, so that's refreshing. So they have the little portals in the levels you can go in, and they give you like a little challenge, which are nice actually. They're pretty fun. It's like, go in this and beat everybody in 40 seconds. Go in here, don't take any damage. Go in here, and the only way you can do damage is by dodging. So when you dodge, if you dodge at the perfect time, Bayonetta will go into like slow-mo mode, and you can just wail on enemies for like 10 seconds or whatever, just free range. And you can upgrade that, and Bayonetta will turn into like a swarm of bats, which helps you avoid even more damage, yada, yada, yada. And you can also upgrade, what else can you upgrade? I think, yeah, you can upgrade like your how much damage you don't take, your endurance and shit like that. I think you're leveling up and all that. Anyway, it's pretty standard stuff right there. So I think that's pretty much everything in terms of the gameplay. It's hacky, it's slashy. We talked about all that. Let's talk about some good moments throughout the chapters. There are 16 chapters throughout the game, so I kind of jotted down most of the chapters with some cool stuff that happened. Chapter 3 was awesome. You're doing some surfing on some insane waves. So again, you're getting that crazy Bayonetta stuff going on. The second phase of that fight was less exciting, but a really good fight overall. Chapter 4, the Umbral Sage fight was fucking awesome. That dude is badass. Like, he comes in all sagey and shit with his hood up, and he's got his badass weapon, and it is just like, a badass fight between really, like, Bayonetta. I wouldn't say, like, it's Bayonetta's match, but, you know, this dude comes in, he's all badass, and then Bayonetta shows up, and then he's like, oh shit, she's badass, and she's like, oh shit, he's kind of badass, and then you fight, and it's badass, and then you get a little fight between your titans, like you have your hair titan, and he has one too, and you get like this little boxing match. Bro, that shit was awesome. That was an amazing fight. Really like the Umbral Sage. Chapter 6, it was okay. There's like some sword dude, and you're doing some more surfing, so that was pretty solid. And you get Chapter 7. Insidious looked awesome. It was like this giant, evil, pissed off manta ray fucking creature that you fight. It looked cooler than the fight itself. The fight was fine. It was standard. You hack and slash the shit out of it until it dies. It just looked awesome. And then you go into round 2 with the Umbral Sage. The sumbitch comes back for some more, which was sick. And you get a little cameo appearance from Rodin, whatever, he shows up. And he, like, you get to see him fight a little bit. And, like, yeah, bro. Like, you get a little taste of the multiplayer. Like, you kind of see where, like, I don't think you can't play the campaign multiplayer, which is like, that would be so sick. But, we'll get to the multiplayer in a minute. So then we get to Chapter 9. That boss actually did kill me a couple of times, only because I went in completely unprepared, that was just a big miss on my part. Generally, before any big fight or anything like that, they'll have a portal that you can go to the shop and quickly fill up on anything that you need. And I was like, nah, I'm good. I got one lollipop. I should be okay. And it was one of the bigger fights in the game. I'm like, oh, fuck, I came in with nothing. I don't have a hot shot. So I did get taken down a few times by the boss in Chapter 9. And it was a little bit of a tricky fight. Like, it was kind of off-putting with the combos. They're kind of fast and slow at this, like, that awkward timing. So yeah, that was a little bit tricky. Chapter 10, there was a really cool creature in Chapter 10 that turns Bayonetta into the baby Bayonetta. That's I believe that happens as well in the first Bayonetta. Wish it happened more. I wish there was like a badass move that you could turn into Bayonetta baby, and then you can beat the shit out of angels and stuff as Bayonetta baby. That would be so cool. Chapter 11, boss was pretty fun, another 2-phase fight. So again, that was a problem that I had with Bayonetta. One was some of the fights were ridiculous. Not in terms of phases necessarily, but some of the health bars were just stupid. They were just layers. Like, it's like, all right, here's the green layer, here's the light green layer, here's the yellow layer, here's the semi-red, here's the orange, here's the red, here's the dark red. You're like, fuck, what is going on here? And then you die on like the 7th layer, and you gotta go through all the fucking layers again. Don't have that problem here, so that is good. They have a couple of extra phases here and there, but it wasn't egregious, so that was quite nice. So that boss was good. Enjoyed the design of that boss more than the fight. That's kind of normal with Bayonetta, because the bosses are always so fucking pretty generally spectacular, so that's key. Chapter 12 was fantastic. Starting off fucking riding a flaming unicorn. Yeah, I love me some riding sections, just fast-paced, you're dodging shit, you're shooting shit on a fucking flaming unicorn. Do I need to say that again? Pretty awesome. Another great fight against the Umbral Sage is back for the trifecta over here, which is great, because those are my favorite fights. And you get some more badass cutscene moments, and the music, the music was ridiculous in this fight. That was definitely a highlight. Great fight right there. Now you're getting into the back part of the game, so shit is like going crazy. Again, I don't want to spoil like the story moments. Like, I couldn't even fucking follow the story. It was so crazy. But Chapter 13, so dope. So dope. You get to team up with, I don't know if I want to you get to team up with someone really cool, and then you're fighting with them, and you're just taking down angels and freaking demons or whatever together, and that felt, man, I was like, damn, this game would be so much fun playing through the campaign with a friend, like with my wife. I'm like, yo, that would be so much fun. That'd be a lot of maybe in Bayonetta 3. I don't know. I don't look up things, so I don't want to know anything, but I'll just get there when I get there. Regardless, you get to team up with someone. It's awesome. I love those type of missions where you get a partner and you get to fight together, and it's awesome. And you get the main boss at the end. You get a mini boss and then a main boss at the end. Both awesome. Tag team climaxing, bro, is a must. If you have not tag team climaxed, you're not living life. Unbelievable. Chapter 14, yet another fun opening with a riding section. This time you're inside a freaking Gundam in outer space fighting a pissed off plant. So yeah, that's going on. You have to go into outer space, right? It's not a crazy over-the-top game unless you go into outer space. Like, didn't Fast and Furious go to outer space? Like, I've only managed to choke down one of those movies, so I really couldn't tell you, but I've heard about the outer space thing. So yeah, Bayonetta 2, you go to outer space and you fight a plant. Chapter 15, the fight against a certain little someone, was pretty damn good. That little shit, though, fucking throws a whole comet at you. Like, Jesus, bro, who throws a comet? Honestly, a freaking comet, that little bastard. Anyway, more scenes and the mini-boss fight over the course of this. This was a long chapter, so the only one that maybe overstayed its welcome, but again, you're getting to the ending of the game. Things are getting a little drawn out, more story, but this one did drag on a little bit. Maybe it was a whole, 20-plus minute chapter. They're not very long, I don't think. Like, they're talking, 15-ish minutes to get through a chapter, I think. They're not very long. Again, it holds up to making it a very replayable game. They may be longer than that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Then we get to the final chapter, starting off in fashion. As always, you're controlling a jet fighter. Sort of. You're on top of the jet fighter, fighting as Bayonetta, but you're also controlling the jet, dodging shit, I think, as well. So, pretty fucking cool. And then the boss's first phase was pretty solid. And then the second phase, it actually got pretty damn tough. Homie was whooping my ass, man. I just couldn't dodge anything. I'm using freaking lollipops like crazy, and I went in fully loaded. I'm like, holy fuck, man. I'm just getting my ass whooped right here. And, like I said, used lots of lollipops. The music, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, the music was freaking slapping in this one. And they finish off with an absolutely hilarious climax. That was a fantastic finish. I will admit, like I said, when the game ended, I was like, oh, it's over already, and the credits rolled. I was like, damn, I could have gone for some more. And, like I said, the game does give you more. So, the main campaign took me about 8 hours, which is good. I mean, 8 hours is fine. Might have been fine. I would have been good with the 10-hour campaign. I feel like Bayonetta 1 was a little bit longer, but, again, that kind of goes into a positive for its replayability. I, again, would play Bayonetta 2 again over Bayonetta 1, because some things I didn't love about Bayonetta 1, but, man, that game blew me away. So, main campaign is about 8 hours, and then when you finish the game, you unlock new characters to play through, and, yeah, it has really good replayability. You're looking to get better scores. Like I said, throughout, it'll show you at the end of the game your ranking on every level, and mine was fairly embarrassing. Not very many, a couple of platinums, a handful of golds, majority silvers, and a decent amount of bronze, man. I was not killing it, but I had a ton of fun going through there. So, I teased this multiplayer a bunch. Let's talk about the multiplayer. So, I did my best with it, because it's like an online multiplayer, where you can connect with someone online. But obviously, the game's a little bit older now. No one was online, and my wife wasn't around the day I was playing it, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to get her to play it. And she didn't seem all that interested in playing it. It doesn't really seem like her type of game. Anyway, you can play it with an AI computer, though, which is awesome. So I gave it a shot, and it is pretty cool. It would be a ton better to play it with a friend. It would be so sick to play it with a person that would enjoy these kind of games, maybe familiar with these games, and you're tag teaming together, beating the fuck out of people. It is a little bit I got bored with it rather quickly. I did 2 rounds, and basically you select I think 6 fights they make you pick. You can pick any one of them. They're worth more. You can upgrade the difficulty, so on and so forth, to get more money. And then, yeah, you just go in and you do the battles that you did through, I think it is the battles throughout the campaign. So basically, you can play the game together. All right, that's pretty cool. But I didn't have a real person. Again, the computer AI was fine. It was doing its job. It was kicking some ass, not too much ass. It wasn't getting its ass kicked too much. It didn't get in my way. It just got bored, though, because it was just fight after fight after fight after fight. And then you finish, and then 6 more fights if you want to. So, yeah, And that's it. So like, yeah, and there's no like story to it. There's no cool cutscenes. There's nothing really there. It's just kind of you and the AI, or you and an online buddy or a local buddy, and you're just kind of collecting coins, and you can unlock more shit and just get better at the game. So a little bit of a swing and a miss. I feel like there could definitely be some more, but again, when you're developing online stuff for like Nintendo Wii U and Nintendo Switch, it's not really like, it's nice that it's there. I wish it was better. That's kind of, I feel like the general quota with online features with Nintendo, but correct me if I'm wrong. If you played it and had a fucking blast with someone, I see the potential there. I got bored of it in about 20 minutes, so I felt like it was fairly limited. It didn't really offer a whole lot. Outside of that, you get like, you can unlock gallery pictures. You can go back and watch the cutscenes again, which are always good. Outside of that, man, yeah, that's the game, folks. That's it. So we'll talk about cons and pros. The cons, it's just the boss fights didn't feel, and like overall, I don't know, the game obviously was super over the top. It just didn't feel as over the top as Bayonetta. I just feel like the moments didn't stick out as much as Bayonetta 1. Though again, it was very, very awesome and flashy and epic, just not as flashy and epic as Bayonetta 1. I didn't follow the story very much, I will admit. I was more engaged in the gameplay, and when shit was going down, when you have cutscenes, I'm just more engaged at just like watching what the hell is happening. Like, they're doing crazy flips and shit and badass fights. I'm not really like, why are we climbing the mountain? Like, I don't really care. Let's just get up there and fight some shit like that. I'm just here for some good entertainment. I'm not here for a story. So I can't really say that there's much of a really engaging story. It's there. It's fine. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like amazing. And then, like I said, not really much new in terms of features, gameplay features from Bayonetta 1. It's kind of the exact same thing, if I'm being honest. It's the similar gameplay. There's like no real new like weapons or anything that felt really new from Bayonetta 1. They added in the multiplayer, but it doesn't really add a lot to the game nowadays. Like, maybe when it first came out and there was a bumping online community, if that ever was a thing, then yeah, maybe it was a lot of fun. But for me, today in 2024, the online feature is fairly defunct. There's not a lot there, unless you have a sibling that is very into these kind of games as well. Then yeah, there's a little bit there, but like I said, it's kind of repetitive and it gets boring kind of quick. Outside of that, the game is fucking gorgeous. Looks so freaking good. I don't know if they upgraded it or something from the Wii U, or if it is just a straight port, but this game looks dope, man. It's so colorful. The lighting effects and the reflections in the water, I was like really impressed. And I don't generally like, I will appreciate it if I like to appreciate that kind of stuff because people worked on that. There's a lot of work going in there. So I like to shout that stuff out because it is really nice. Smooth performance, ran like butter, smooth butter, if you will. I don't know. It was nice. No problems there. No fucking crashes. No problems like in the new Star Wars game I'm hearing. Anyway, stuff like that. The music was awesome. The voice acting is phenomenal, especially Bayonetta. I want her name. I need your name. Helena Taylor. Shout out to you. You're so fantastic as Bayonetta. So good. I like the combat. The combat is fun. It does, like I said, there is good enemy variety, but again, it doesn't feel that different from Bayonetta 1. Like, I felt like I was like, yep, there's the flying angel demon guys, there's the big brute angel demon guys, I know how to handle all this. Like, wasn't really anything new there either, but the combat still works really good. It's very responsive. I also didn't shout out you can turn into the Panther, so there's like it's a way to help you move around faster. You like double tap the dodge button, you turn into a Black Panther, and off you go. You can run faster and collect. There's other things I forgot, but you can collect like little power-ups throughout the levels and shit, and little bonuses and crap like that. There's little collectibles, so that adds to the replayability as well. I definitely didn't get all the collectibles, but I did have fun looking for them. Like I said, the levels aren't open world, so they're fairly easy to find, but I imagine there are some tricky ones. There was a couple, I'm like, oh, what's this little nook right here? And you're like, oh, there's a little thing hidden behind the corner. That's pretty key. So you can also turn into a panther, but yeah, the controls, great camera, like the camera I had no problems there, and that's very important for these kind of games because they're fast-paced, they're wild, they're frantic, and you need a good camera, great camera in Bayonetta 2. And the characters all that stuff. Very funny game. It's silly. It's just goofy. And yeah, it's very, very good with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's everything in terms of the pros. What else would there be? I like Bayonetta's haircut. I think Bayonetta's haircut, I like it short. I think it looks good. Let me know. Do you like it short? Do you like it long? I'm giving Bayonetta an 8 out of 10. I actually scored Bayonetta 1 a 8.5, apparently. I looked back, saw it, 8.5. So I gave Bayonetta 2 a 8. It's a great game. I just preferred Bayonetta 1's experience a little bit more. But again, I think Bayonetta 2 has the better replayability. It's got a little bit extra features. It seems like just an easier to get through campaign without any like annoying roadblocks. It's a very nice, smooth, well-paced campaign that seems like I wanted to go right into it again as the new character that they give you. But I was like, I needed to go check out the online features, and then now some other games caught my attention, so I haven't gone back to it. And honestly, now at this point, other games have their hooks in me. Probably won't go back, but maybe some other day. There's that door is always going to be open. So 8 out of 10 for Bayonetta 2, and I'm telling you, it may not be the easiest games to find. Like, I mean, you can always just download them on the Nintendo shop. They're available to you there, but they don't go on sale. And I don't know if I can say like a full price, 60 something plus dollars for Bayonetta 2. I don't know if it really earns that price tag. Like for what I got it at $40, I'm like, yeah, that seems good. But I don't think I would have gotten my bang for my buck. I would have been a little bit disappointed if I purchased this game day one, full price, and I beat it in about 8 hours. And the rest of the modes just didn't really click with me. And I was like, oh, I got 8 hours. It was a great time, but yeah, I don't know. So, hey, if you played Bayonetta 2, let me know. If you played all the Bayonettas, let me know what your favorite one is in the series so far. For me, it's still Bayonetta 1. I loved that game. It was just, there's nothing like your first. You get in for the first time, you get all these new experiences, you're introduced to these new wacky characters, and there's something special about that. The second time around, it was still a great time. It just, I don't know. I remember things about Bayonetta 1 more than Bayonetta 2, and I just played Bayonetta 2, and I don't remember very much about the big moments. Thankfully, I wrote most of them down, so there we go, everybody. Thank you so much for listening. Y'all are awesome. Make sure you want to be even more awesome. Make sure you're hitting that like button, review the podcast, maybe tell a friend or two, and share that shit around. Let everybody know about it so I don't have to work a normal job and I could just do podcasting for the rest of my life. That'd be key. That'd be really cool. So help me out with that, and I'll help you out. And there's a Twitter page you can go and follow. I upload all of these episodes to the YouTube channel, GamerGX Videos, so you can go over there, subscribe. If you want to send in a question, have it answered on a podcast, have your name shouted out, all that great stuff. Drop a comment on a YouTube episode. You can send a message on Twitter, and there's an email address if you just want to have a private conversation. My door is open for anyone and everyone. And there we go. In terms of what else we got going on with the podcast, I was immensely wrong with no WWE or no wrestling pay-per-views going on this week, because there are 2 freaking wrestling pay-per-views. In fact, actually 3 if you count TNA, which I watched some of that last night with my wife. It was really, really good so far. Didn't finish it, but maybe we will. But there's so much freaking wrestling, so it's going to be yet another busy week on the WrestleCast. There will be a wrestling recap where I have my predictions for said pay-per-views. We'll have those on there, the full recap of AEW, WWE programming, and then a extra pay-per-view review for Bash in Berlin for WWE, and NXT has No Mercy going down on Sunday. So there we go. Some fucking long weekend wrestling for us. I hope everyone's enjoying some of that. Enjoy yourself. It's a gorgeous weekend here. Well, last night it rained like the dickens. I had a little puddle down here in the basement. Outside of that, it's been a freaking-tastic weekend, so I hope y'all are having a fantastic weekend. Enjoy said long weekend if you get the opportunity to do so. If you're working, I apologize, but here's some, hopefully you at least are listening to this while you have to do some shitty work, and hopefully this provided some form of entertainment for you, and you're awesome. So yeah, follow along, do all the follow-ins, and do all that great stuff. Listen to any of the older episodes. Metal Gear Solid just went on. You're gonna listen to all of them. It's all there for you, and we'll be back again. Was I'm out. GX plus Ghost.